Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. This is Tanya, Sidegigcrafts. Yo, we're going to be doing some experimenting today. I watched some videos yesterday and I thought, you know what? I have some ideas. So that's why I have these things out. I'm just trying to get things ready, and these are the things I plan to use. I may use something different. I may use something more, but we're going to use some stencils today. We're going to use some oxide inks, and I'm going to use some StazOn as well. Oh, I have a Catherine Pooler that I meant to pull out too. Where did she go? I may not use Catherine. I had her here, but I don't see her now. So if I find her, and she should be nearby, I might use that ink too. But we're going to use some different inks, oxide inks and others. And she's probably sitting up here on my desk. I've been using all these watery colors, and so she's probably up here somewhere. Now, I don't have very many blues, which is really disappointing because I thought I had more. So I'm going to go ahead and get online today and order some more blues because I'm desperately in need. So also, I'm going to be ordering some number rubber stamps, because I don't have any, and I thought I did. So here we go. I got my watercolor. I went through my rubber stamps yesterday, you guys, and actually got rid of a bunch of them. I was like, I'm never going to use these. What am I doing? So I gave them up. And yeah, my box is a little emptier, which is great. It either leaves room for things that I will use, or it leaves room, and that's perfect. So here's the plan. I'm going to do some embossing today. Oh, I showed you the inks. We're going to do some embossing powders. I've got some, this is Simon Says Stamp. This is Fine Detail White. And I've got some copper here that I've never used either. I've never used either of these, honestly. I haven't embossed in a long, long time, and I don't know why. I love the effect. But I want to try some fun, new, different things. Now, let me get a towel really quick. I don't know how to explain what I'm doing without just doing it. I'll clean that off the best I can. I'm just going to apply to my watercolor paper some different Distress Oxides. Now, the reason I'm using, I don't use that brush for that one, using Distress Oxide inks is because I'm going to apply water. I want to get some different colors out of there. And, you know, when Distress Oxide inks get wet, they have different properties and they look different. So we'll probably be adding some browns into here too, but I don't have a brush specifically for that. I might just want to get a clean new brush. Do I have one? Let me see if I have another one that hasn't been used yet. I do not think I do. Wait, here's some more. Nope, that one's been used. That one's been used. Okay, which is fine. We'll just use this. We're okay. We're okay. And I'm okay if it has a brown tint to it. I just don't know if it was ink or if it was Distress Oxide. So I'm just going to apply some random colors here. This particular one is Pumice Stone. And I'm going to be going from the lightest to the darkest colors that I have out. And I'm just going to randomly place them. They can be darker and lighter. Just all over. And again, this is watercolor paper. It's actually it's mixed media paper. It's a Canson XL. So I thought this would be a fun one to play on, especially with mixed media embossing and stuff. So we're going to do these lightest colors first. Now this is Lost Shadow. This one I don't expect to show a whole lot, but it should be a little bit different tones. And we're going to be adding layers, so we can leave some white spots. It's okay to do that. I don't think this paper is truly white anyway. I don't know. There's our earthy tone. Now, let's let this sit for a few minutes. I turned that off good. I absolutely love these towels. Have I mentioned that I love these towels from Temu? They wash up really nice. Okay, and they're so soft. Now, we're going to let this set for a few minutes or just a little bit, because I want it to be dry. Actually, I don't. We're okay with it not being, because I want to sprinkle water, just a little drops of water, now that I dried it, because I want this effect through it also. And they can be little drops, they can be big drops, they can be a mist, it can be, you do you. We're going to put some drops of water in there. We'll let it sit for a minute or two, for just a bit. And then we'll go back and soak that back up, dry that back up. These are oxides, so it should leave water spots. See that? Can you see the difference? It's lifting that back up. Which is fantastic. That's exactly what I want. Let's do a little bit more. Oops, didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. I want it to be noticeable. Can you guys see the difference? Hopefully. Let's see if I can get this up to closer to you. Can you see it? The lighter spots in there, that's where the water was. Alright, that's pretty cool. Now, I want to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and dry this for a second with my heat. Okie dokie. Now let's add some, let's add some embossing. Oh, I forgot to get the embossing. I got a dauber. Where did I put it? It's right here. Let's start stacking away here. All my projects. Don't need that. I do need that. I don't need that. It's right here. It's right here. There it is. I told you it was right here. Okay. Told you. Did you guys used to say that a lot when you were a kid? I was the youngest of 4 kids, so I said that a lot. I told you. I got accused of lying a lot. They'd gang up on me. I don't think I was lying as much as they said I was. Because then they'd get back to it. I'm like, I told you. And then I'd get in trouble for being a smarty pants. Couldn't win. Couldn't win. Alright. Oh, obviously, I've never used this before. In this bottle. I don't need the scissors. Put those up. I love this already. Heck, we could just move on with this. Okay. Now, what I want to do, it's something different. Okay, I know these are supposed to be coffee cups, but couldn't they also be bubbles? Because I'm trying to go with the watery theme. So I thought if I don't use the splatters, they could potentially be bubbles. And we're going to be doing some other stuff in between, so some of it will be covered anyway. How does this bottle work? Do I have to break a seal? Is there a seal in there? I don't know. Probably. I would imagine there's a seal in there, would you? You think? I can't tell. if there is. I feel silly if there isn't. How do I? To use, remove cap, invert dabber, and tap repeatedly on surface to begin ink flow. Okay, so it does not. So let's just get that ink flow going. It says repeatedly, so I should be able to see it when it does come out, right? Should I do it this way? That seems to work better. Seems like it's coming out now. Okay, let's try that. Okay with it not being perfect too. Another thing I forgot to do is get out a paper to go under here to catch my paper or my stuff. Just a piece of copy paper would be good. Of course, you know I don't have any of that nearby. Except this giant paper, but that'll work. That'll work. Stuff stays wet a while, doesn't it? Okay, what I want to do, all my new supplies. I'm trying to use my stuff, you guys. And who doesn't get bored of the same old thing all the time, right? So, let's see, some of that stayed on there. Dump that back in here. And let's see how this particular embossing powder comes out, because if it's opaque, it's the wrong one. If it's clear, it's the one I want. This one is opaque, which is fine. It's just not the one I want. Fine detail white. Okay, so this is kind of a snowy look on there. Right, it's not done. I'm a dork. Okay, keep going. And that's okay. I'm learning my materials. So that one is white and it's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to actually set this one aside over here. I was going to say I'm going to write a note on there. I will write a note on there saying that it's opaque so I don't make that mistake on something important. So I've got a couple more embossing powders here. Let's try, where'd Wow go? I think Wow should, oh gosh, I can't move my chair. Clear Gloss Super Fine. That one shouldn't let me down. Not that the first one did, but it's just not the look I want. So I want clear gloss. This should be plenty, right? Okay. Maybe I'll look into a different container for that. I see people with their spoons and they do it all simply, and maybe I'll do that next time. Maybe I'll do that later. Maybe I'll do that today. I don't know. Let's try this again. I was thinking earlier, look, I've got all these whites. I should just pour them onto the same container. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been disappointed to get some of it opaque and some of it not. I would have messed it up. Ooh, my ceiling fan doesn't help much, does it? Okay, let's see how this one turns out before I put more. We're going to put some more of these rings on here, and then we're going to start adding some other color, which is, you'll see how that goes. It's going to be so cool, I promise. Okay, so stay with me because I promise it's going to turn out really cool. I'm going to put some more of these all over, kind of, And we'll just do them all at once. Hopefully. Try to stay away from the big blobby pieces because those will look more like coffee, and I don't want it to look like coffee necessarily. I'm aiming for bubbles. Just outlines of bubbles would be great. And we'll do some more here. Let's see. Let's do this one. If I mess it up or pick up the thing and kind of mess it up a little bit, that's okay too. I'm not worried about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Got a lot more going on here. I'm sniffing this embossing fluid. It smells good, actually. It's kind of nice. Oh, really, Cash? Well, you Cash fans, there she is. She's announcing her arrival today. All right, let's go ahead and put the powder on this. It's everywhere. We'll just kind of pour it kind of all over. This stuff is gloopy or crumbly, isn't it? Which is fine. It's working. It's doing its job. Not a complaint. Except that I put it on kind of all over the place, and that kind of makes a mess, doesn't it? Really, Cash? Alright, sorry, I know I've got this away from the camera, but nothing to see there. Okay, let's dump this in. I think, no, I didn't miss a spot. The one that I already melted keeps making me think I missed a spot and that it's wet, and it's not wet. It's where I already finished. Let's just cover that up. Cover that up. It's really turning out cool. Can you see all the different bubbly sections? I think I missed some powder, but I don't think it's enough though. I think I'm gonna, well, you know what? Let's try something different. Let's use this one. And we'll add some here. No rhyme or reason, I'm just kind of going. You guys will see what I'm doing. You'll see when I start really getting into it. This is just like the first step, so hang in there with me. I'll probably edit out the heat gun because I know a lot of people don't like that at all. And, you know, it's boring, so I'll speed that part up at least. Mute it. Alright, we'll get some of these bubbles in there. Did I get it all over? I think I did. Let's get some more down here. And it's okay if it overlaps the other because this is all part of the process. All right, so there's that. Oop. Put that aside for now. We're going to go ahead and sprinkle this powder all over again. Once we get done with this layer, we're going to move on to another color. You'll see that goes. I actually probably should have used one of those larger pieces of paper under there because I could use it now. I'm going to just sprinkle this everywhere so it all gets covered. Nothing extra, nothing less. Ooh, but it's going everywhere because my ceiling fan. That's going to be so cool. Oh, what a cool idea. Okay, so, and I can say that because it wasn't mine. I mean, I guess this is my idea, but... Alright, should we see how that works out? Let's see how it works out. Here we go. So I got a lot of it, but I missed a bunch of spots. I'm gonna just up in here, and I really want to go back and get some of that. There's a reason why, you guys. So I sprayed the water, or I sprayed the ink with the oxide because I wanted to capture some of the coloration differences. When I put this over that, it's going to capture some of those colors in there. So, and again, you'll see what I mean in a minute because we're going to be changing up some of the things we're doing here, and you should be able to see it. So I'm really trying to capture a lot of that oxide color changes under some of these bigger bubbles. Alright, so that should be good. Alright, we won't, if I didn't capture it then, we're not gonna worry. Now, which ones of these are wet and which ones of them are just already embossed? I don't remember. But I know there was nothing in this corner. I know I did some over here. It'll only stick where it's wet, so. Did I do any more over here? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Just tap that off. Put this back in here. I'm making a mess today. Let's do it again. Alright, so something else I'm noticing is a little bit of color change here underneath the embossing powder, because that color wasn't there before. So there's a little bit of color change in there under there too, which is fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, so one thing I want to do next, I'm going to use, that's probably too aggressive. I don't want to go there yet. Let's go with this blue. I'm nervous, can you tell? I'm nervous. We're going to kind of just go over some of this. And you'll see that the ink isn't going to want to stick to that embossing where we embossed. And so it's becoming a resist, which is exactly what I wanted. Now I'm using oxide ink again because we're going to use water on top of it again. And I'm not exactly sure how this is going to turn out. I mean, every piece would be different, wouldn't it? Because you're just doing it kind of off the cuff. And I just watched somebody else play with it, so I don't know what to expect. I'm doing mine a little different. But if it looks like a hot mess right now, it's going to look better. Hang tight. I wish I had a darker blue that was also... I wish I had Mariner, which I thought I did. I really thought I had it. I don't know. I really thought I did. Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. Okay. First of all, my hands have that powder all over. We're going to take a towel and we're going to wipe this. We're wiping all of that ink, blue ink, off of the embossing. Can you see that? Wow, that makes that pumice turn look a little bit brown, doesn't it? That's kind of cool. Or gold even. Isn't that cool? It brings some of that color out. Now, next what we're going to do is we're going to take that water bottle again, and we're going to get watermarks on the blue ink. Yep, we sure are. Off of the Salvage Patina is what I used. We'll just let that sit a minute. I'm just trying to drop drops. Big drops, little drops, all the kind of drops. Just let it set for a second. Ooh, that brings out a really cool blue, doesn't it? Look at that. Even more color differences. That's awesome. I don't know if I'm going to use that StazOn. I might. Just to add another depth. Look at that. That's so cool. You guys, I'm having fun. I hope you'll try it too. This is awesome. I'm going to actually add another round. Just add in a little more water. Wow. Now what am I going to use this for? I'm going to use this for backgrounds. And I'll probably make I want to make an ATC out of it. I do need to send an ATC to a friend who's having a challenge. So I'm going to make an ATC. And I think I'm going to watercolor another orca to put on that ATC. Look at that. Should we do more of the bubbles to capture the blue and keep that blue? I think we should. So let's use, I was going to do the water, I was going to do something like this, but I think that's going to be too much for what we've got going on. I think I'd rather do this. You know what, I want to wipe this off because this is really, I don't know if it will. Okay, I think that's damage from something else I did. I was going to use grit paste too, but I don't know that I'm going to. I'm even going to use this corner, even though it's got that white on it I didn't really want. I'm trying to capture some of all of the colors in there because this is just beautiful. And when I put that other ink on, it's going to cover a lot of that. So I want to try to capture as much as I can of that blue and the differences in colors. Look at that. So I'm just looking for gorgeous pieces, gorgeous color differences. And I'm just going over those spots. Man, this stuff really does smell good. Leave it to me to notice that. It's hard to tell what's wet and what's not now. Put in here. Let's try that and see what we got. Yep, look, there's some different colors coming up. That's interesting. Maybe because some of that's getting heated up so much, I'm not sure. Or it's getting wet from the embossing fluid, maybe. Maybe that's why. Probably a combination of both. Let's put this back on this side. Have a vacuum, won't it? Wow, this is beautiful. Okay. So, clear gloss, super fine. So even though, I think I'm scorching it, you guys. Or something. Did I just not? No, maybe not. Hang on. Here's what I'm learning. You can't keep heating up your embossing fluid or your embossing stuff because it's turning different. It's scorching, basically. And it's not translucent anymore. So, which is okay, I'm fine. But it's not what I wanted, you guys. It's not what I want though. So what I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my stays on in some areas. I think, or I'm going to try it over here at least and see what happens. And see if I get some good results. If I don't like the results, I won't do it over the rest of it. Just lightly. I think I missed some embossing powder. which is fine. Whatever. At this point, whatever. Okay, so then it should wipe off where I embossed, leaving that darker color behind. And this towel is wet now, so I don't think that's what I want to do. I like it. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but I learned some things today, and that's the most important thing, right? We gotta learn. We're not gonna learn if we don't try. So I learned a few things today. You can't keep reheating things. You're not gonna get the results you want, and I didn't melt some of those because I was afraid of reheating some of the other ones. So I missed some of it. That's all right. We'll just wipe it off. It'll be a little textural. So it's still really cool. It's just not what I'd expected. And this one stays on, so we can't do the water trick again. We'll just kind of go around. Missed some more. Damn. Can't be good for my brush. But the stays on still won't stick. Well, that's part of the problem too. The stays on still won't stick to the embossed portions. So there's that. So it's still pretty cool, right? We've got some really neat stuff going on there, even though it's not what I'd intended. I had hoped that these would stay transparent and show the ink underneath, but I think because I heated it so many times, it didn't quite work that way. So still beautiful. I still love it. I think it's a really cool effect. I think we're gonna, oh shoot, I got the embossing powder in my ink. We'll just clean that up a second. I think what I'd like to do is go ahead and spray it one more time just to see. The stays on, of course, won't be affected, but see if we can get any more effect out of any of the other ink that's still exposed. Just another layer of color. And I'm not going to add the copper after all, because the other embossing actually turned kind of a goldish coppery color. So I think we're good. Yeah, that made a difference too. That's cool. Now I can't tell what's wet and what's the and what's the embossing. Let's do it one more time. Just drops. Alright, you guys, that was my experimentation today. I love it. I learned a lot. I hope you learned from what did work and what didn't work. And I hope that you'll give it a try. I'm going to use some of this in my... Actually, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Shake that powder off. Let's close up this bottle before I lose the lid, which looks like I already did. I'll be in search for that in a minute. Go ahead and brush this off. This is like a whole card's worth. Ugh. But that's what it is. Let's go ahead and cut a piece of this for the journal that it's going into. Well, where did I put said journal? Right here under my phone. There it is. Alright, we just need a small piece. Or two. Let's see. I'll just put a piece of it right in here. I think I'm going to actually use this piece. Actually, I think I'm going to use that for the ATC card I need. I don't want the edge because it's a little bit undone. So we're just going to cut into that. We'll use it as a strip. Still use it. Then let's cut this to, let's just do that on all the sides. Except this one. This one's going to be 2.5 by 3.5 is an ATC size. And while we're at it, let's make another one. Doesn't ever hurts to have two. And this page needs to be about, ruler, 4 inches. Let's say 4 inches. I might be a little off. By about there. You like my measurement style? About there. If that's too long, we'll cut it. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I think we're going to turn it into a pocket in here. So let's get out. I love these drawers. I always think I'm going to pinch my fingers, and it's impossible, but I always think I'm going to. A punch, and we will just glue down the 3 sides. Oops, and now we do need glue. So we're not just making random today, we are making something useful. There we go. Right there. I love that. What fun. Made our own paper, our own design, experimented, learned something. We should put a tuck in. Let's see, where did I put that? Right there in the front signature. So let's do something with it in the back signature. My goodness, Cash. We could just do it this way. And I missed the center, but that's all right. This way. Here we go. Nice sturdy pocket with that watercolor paper. Awesome possum. Alright, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this experiment. I hope that you will come back and see me often and join me in the next one. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.